Hi. Hello, Peter. Okay, so today I'm going to be joined by Peter Himmelman, who's waving hello. For those of you who don't know Peter Himmelman, there he is.
That's so simple.
That's so simple.
You had no idea how nervous I was about this whole thing. Can you hear me better with this cool mic? Can you hear me at all?
That is better.
It is better,
Yeah,
right?
I think so. Okay.
Is this upside down?
Yeah, it's upside down.
Well, maybe that depicts the real me.
It's kind of on point with the world situation.
Yeah, that was artistic.
Hi.
I'm gonna hold this.
Cheers, mate.
Looking good.
You look super pro with the fancy mic in front of you.
The mic costs about $35.
Is it a USB mic?
Yeah, it's a nice mic. Everyone's like, is that like a Neumann?
It's a vintage Neumann.
It's a Neumann. It's from the 30s, I think. I think Goebbels used it to make some anti-Semitic comments. I still see the stain of his mustache.
I love how you stick it to the man one way or another, Peter. So, hello. For those of you on Facebook, I'm live with Peter Himmelman on Instagram. So you'll just see me talking to him here, but you'll hear him. But if you want to see him, go over to Instagram. Peter Himmelman, for those of you who don't know, is a fantastic heralded singer-songwriter. He is also an author. He's a motivational creative genius. He is a film TV composer. He's a father. He's a friend. He's a genius. He's funny. He's a storyteller. I'll leave it there because we don't want to give it all away up front, do we? Last time I saw you, you called me on stage to sing with you to a song you hadn't written yet. That was fun.
It was brand new, right?
It was cutting edge. Yeah, froze.
Yeah, I'm back.
Good.
We're talking about a song that had just been written or something.
Oh, I was just saying that the last time I saw you, it was at that benefit up here in San Francisco. Do you remember? With the dogs?
How could I forget? I'm like, why am I here? This is amazing. Like, I flew in a plane. Do you remember that? We used to go into these little things, or large things called, I think they were called planes or jets, or they have different names for them.
Right. That was a little plane for you. That was a small commuter plane.
Yeah, commuter planes they used to call them. That was cool. You'd get into this thing, you'd put your seatbelt on, you might even watch a movie, and then you'd be in another place.
Right. Not your house. Not your house.
You're correct. You'd see other people, you could touch them if it wasn't illegal, you could. Those were cool days. It's funny how I took them for granted.
True. Remember when you could walk outside with your mouth exposed?
No, I don't. I have a very, very, very slim memory of that, but yeah. Mm-hmm. I was somewhere we went upstate New York. We took a drive today, and there were so many people. Like for them, it was like no masks, no anything. It was like wow. I have these dreams. Not to get into my dreams, but I think you'd be a good dream analyst, given your skills as a vocal coach. Where I'm in this room with people and everyone's like crowding around and talking. I'm like, whoa, you don't have a mask on. It's like a scary thing.
I know. I had a dream that I was trapped in a house. I've had a lot of dreams about houses, surprisingly enough. And I was trapped in this house and a lioness was casing the property. And it just went on and I was going to different rooms and the lioness was trying to get in. And I thought at the end of when I woke up and analyzed that, I was like, I guess I'm the lioness trying to get out and identify. I think there's 1,000 ways that could be.
Well, no, I got the interpretation is that I was going to say you are the lioness, and this whole experience is going to bring out your ferocity, and your beauty is going to increase your impact and positive impact in the world. Your health is going to be incredible. Your success is going to go through the roof because of this. The lioness quality of you, the leonine quality. It's coming out right now. Your teeth are sharper.
I'm doing Invisalign. I've got them in right now. You can't really see them, but it's not fun. It hurts like crazy, but it'll be worth it in the end.
They look sharp.
Thank you.
That they're the teeth of a lion.
So how are you these days? How's your voice feeling these days?
Not excellent. Not really. I think I'm having trouble sleeping, so that has a deleterious effect. I mean, it's probably always in reach if I want to. Sometimes if I'm like practicing, which I'm not an avid practicer, like it's so hard. And then when I'm actually performing, it's a whole different voice. It's like I'm inhabited by some other being that could maybe make it happen. So when I'm rehearsing or going through songs and things, it's a little distressing sometimes because like, oh, that's what you're coming up with? It sounds bad and you sound bad and it's a lot of work. And maybe because it's only like a quarter of the effort, or maybe it's more effort. Maybe it's too much effort as opposed to just being there and allowing a voice to emerge.
It's interesting. I come up against that, and I remember you and I talking about it when we were deep in the weeds with the work for you and your rehabilitation, in that the voice that you practice technically usually doesn't resemble the voice you use in performance mode. And to me, that makes complete sense as a vocal coach. But as a performer, it makes complete sense to me that on the flip side of that argument, that I don't use this voice, I don't sound like this when I sing. Why would I practice like this? Why would I allow myself to sound this way when it doesn't feel like I'm practicing the voice I use? Do you remember going through that?
Yeah, I do. And the analogy is probably, if you're practicing for a sport, you're not necessarily moving as fast as you would. You're concentrating on areas that need strengthening. So I used to do karate a lot, at one point for about a decade. And there would always be a point at which the sensei would say, okay, okay, so just, by the way, he got kicked in the throat.
Oh, God.
His voice was like, and I think it's diminishing all the time. Okay, so now forget what you're learning and just give what you have. Give out what you have. And that was a rare moment in these classes, which I enjoyed. Feel like it's your last chance, and then whatever it is that you learn, forget about the form, forget about everything, whatever you've accumulated from this kind of meticulous practice, which similar to the vocal performance, isn't going to resemble in any way the kind of karate that you would be using, let's say, in some combat situation. So it's kind of dissembling things and looking at them and examining them, and maybe you just solved my big problem with this kind of practice again.
Well, it's true, and that analogy is perfect. I use the analogy of an athlete or a dancer, any person who's using muscle systems to present their art form or whatever it is they do. It's easier for people to wrap their heads around an athlete because they'll say, for example, oh well, if you're a long distance runner, you're not born knowing how to handle that kind of endurance. Or if you're a ballerina, you're not born understanding those forms and those shapes, which makes sense. Or if you're a guitar player, you're not born learning how to play the guitar. But something about the voice, I feel as though, and I've experienced this myself and from other clients I've had, that there's this understanding that you either can just do it or you can't. And then when you get into the study of it, it's either a resistance to how long it can take to get the muscle systems to work the way you want, to acquire the voice you can have versus the voice you want. And that's another road.
Yeah, right. I mean, I guess it's also something to do with the energy that you put behind it. You're not projecting to anyone. You're not really trying to connect with anyone when you're practicing. It's just sort of in a room. And then when that opportunity arises to touch somebody or to give over what you have.
Yeah, I think that's a really valid point. And that aspect of it, the practicing the delivery or the neuropsychology, I don't think that's a real term, but the experience of the audience and you connecting, you can't really emulate that till you're in it. And that takes, as you know, doing lots and lots of gigs and being in lots of situations to feel comfortable enough to get past whatever feelings you have about your technique or your limitations or
Wait a minute, I feel uncomfortable when I'm not on stage. That's the problem.
Well, this is such a problem.
Then on stage, you don't have to be your real self. You can wear a mask. Speaking of that, I have like 50 of them. Everyone's sending me these really cool masks.
That's good. It's the new accessory.
Sad, like people down the street, like, where'd you get that mask? I'm like, oh, come to this.
Where'd you get the mask? It's funny and not funny. But last week on here, I was doing a bunch of tension exercises and a lot of those running, descending lines, which you and I have done. And
Yeah.
I was remembering working with someone else who just had a lot of resistance to it, and that sound of that higher, lighter, heady voice. And you and I discussed that a lot because it's not a sound you necessarily use when you sing, but you need that resonant space to equalize everything, keep everything in position so that you can use the voice you want. And it's just an interesting mindset to have to go through those phases so that you can then just do you.
Yeah, it's helpful. I do sometimes have a choice. Do I want to like strain to hit some note or do what I used to call the grammar rose? Whoo, yeah. And I mean,
Love the grammar rose.
it works. I mean, it's a lot better than straining. If you can make it musical, and it's just another place to go. Oh, you mean I don't have to strain? I can just do something that's easy. And you said, yeah, you can do that. I like how you never call it falsetto.
Well, I don't call it falsetto because even though it's what I just did and what you just did would probably technically be a falsetto, the upper register can be so much more than just that sound. But the access to other sounds comes from that. You don't, especially if I meet a client and they don't have any access to their higher notes or higher range, and that's what everybody wants. But they want it to sound big. They want it to sound like their lower voice or the voice they like to sing with, and at first it doesn't. And that's one of the challenges of getting. It's a mentality. It's getting past the mentality about what people think it's supposed to sound and feel like in order to get to what they can do.
Yeah. I mean, it has a lot to do with if I sound like this. I mean, it's on a primal level. I'm somehow going to be rejected. I'm going to be embarrassed and ashamed, and that shame is going to somehow, on some primitive brainstem level, kind of like distance me from those I love. It's a running theme that we have.
I actually would love to study how far back that goes, because the voice is the first instrument. As far as I'm concerned, it's the most human instrument, and I think the voice predates language in many ways. So feeling like your voice doesn't sound like you,
it's
hard to get
I think
past a lot of people.
I might have mentioned this to you when we talked, because I probably talked a lot through our lessons, opening up my voice. But when I was first married in 1988, we took a tour of Central Asia and a rock and roll tour of the Caucasus, Baku, Tashkent. We should have been in Cleveland, but of course, this opportunity arose at a coke-addled manager.
Wow.
That was quite an experience, but there was an ethnomusicologist on the tour, and he had studied with these tribes people in Africa, and I think they spoke like Swahili, which he learned, and one time he told me that they were all singing. That's just what they did, and they asked him to join in, and he kind of demurred and said, I don't sing, and he said it in Swahili, but they didn't understand what he was saying. It made no sense at all. Like, I don't sing. Like, everyone sings. I don't breathe.
Right.
Because we put so much judgment on it. I do think that maybe certain TV shows, and this is the way that you sing, and this is really this slender sort of slice. I always wonder what Tom Waits, how he would have fared on The Voice, for example. A lot of people.
Yeah, it's so prescriptivist, I think.
I mean, it sort of sounds like it just kind of. I haven't watched it for a long time, but when I stopped watching or thinking about it, it was kind of one sound. It sort of had like a gospel sound, which was kind of great, but like it excluded so many other possibilities.
There are a couple of people who have risen from those shows, and I have nothing against them. The shows themselves, obviously, millions of people enjoy them.
Yeah, they love them, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't help you build an artist's career.
Yeah, I mean, it was, at least at the time I was watching it, like a stress on, homogeneity. It had to be this and not that. And everyone was perceptions. Well, this guy's a really great singer because he can do all these trills, and yeah. I mean, I could do that too. I could have been on the show.
I've heard you.
It's like, no,
especially
I couldn't have.
In the Grandma Rose voice. Let me
it reminds me of, if anyone watches Sopranos, when Christopher, do you ever watch that show? Christopher goes, model, I could have been one, but I didn't like the people. Like he could never have been a model. But he felt truly that he could. Yeah, I mean, I could have been a model, but I didn't like the people. This is the only thing that held him back from a serious modeling career.
You said something interesting about practice, and I have a question about your sense of your voice and practicing your voice, because you had a procedure, and that's not a secret, I don't think, because
oh my God, you told everyone.
You wrote about it on Huffington Post, so
yeah,
cat's out of the bag. I'm curious about your voice and your sense or understanding of your voice, a relationship with your voice procedure versus post, and if that changed. I mean, obviously it had to change.
Yeah, it changed a lot. I mean, once just to, you know,
You froze for a minute.
yeah, I lost my voice because I got a low battery message came on. Like, okay, I know, I can see it. Our time is limited. So why do you come on and stop my voice with that dumb message? But if you don't, if you're prevented from speaking for 6 weeks, you've undergone this thing, you'll never really think about your voice again. This probably took place for me about 4 or 5 years ago, and I've never shouted out loud. Not that I do a lot of shouting anyway, but like yelling for somebody. There's no way I'm gonna do that. Or this kind of like belly laughing that could like throw out your voice, or thinking about coughing. So I have a much more sort of guarded or protected or timid sense about my voice. Um, I can't say that I'm like tending to it super well, other than the fact that I'm like have a very conscious kind of nurturing or softening of what I would do. I had a very careless way with my voice before.
Before your incident, pathology, did you ever train? Because I don't know if you and I ever talked about that. I know you trained after, and I know we worked together, but did you do?
Yeah, I mean,
think about your voice in that way before?
I didn't have time, to warm up and things like that, which I still not. I'm not the biggest warm up person, although I will whip out a, voice memo of a Libby Lavella warm up.
A Lavella.
I'll put a Lavella. I'll do some Lavelling, which reminds me of the Yiddish word kvelling. Have you ever heard that?
No, that's one I have.
Kvelling is the opposite of Schadenfreude. Is being happy for somebody else's joy. So I'll do some Lavelling and kvelling. Yeah, I mean, it was time to sing. And when you're touring a lot, they set you up with all these like interviews at 6 a.m. in the morning, and you're singing your songs, and you've just been singing the night before, and you're going to sing in another interview, and you're going to sing at night again. It's brutal.
Yeah.
I tuned my guitar down, and when everyone tuned down like E flat, let's go down to D, like for these, because who could sing that high in the morning?
And the speaking is the hardest part, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of that too. You're using your voice, and just like, that's the other thing. I mean, not speaking quite as much, just in general, or even having a kind of a concurrent sort of a consciousness about speaking when I'm speaking, or when I'm listening to somebody else speak. I'm like, it's kind of a magical thing. You don't want to wear out the system. I no longer believe that you can just speak as many words as you want.
No.
I think there's like a limit.
I think that I don't know that I agree that there's a limit. I think that I believe that there is way more to it than most people give credit to, and that's fair. Because why would you? Your muscle groups work involuntarily. You don't ever get a true sense of them unless, unfortunately,
Something goes wrong.
Something goes wrong.
Well, maybe that's how we're looking at this situation now with our masks.
People, when do you ever get an education about the respiratory system or how your voice works unless you have to, unless you decide it's going to be part of your life and you seek it out, or you become a public speaker, or these things that people do, you then take it seriously.
I used to think about when you drink lemon and honey. This is wasn't when I was 9. This is like 5 years ago. Somehow you drink the lemon and honey, it would kind of like soothe your vocal cords, like it would like moisten your vocal cords. The lemon and honey in the hot water, it goes nowhere near your vocal cords. You'd be dead. You'd dry. It's like
It would
waterboarding.
enter, yeah, it would enter your
Yeah. So I mean, it kind of moistens sort of the area in the back of your throat. Like, I'm gonna gargle this honey. Those vocal cords are they're loving it. They're just basking in it. No, do not do that.
close. It's close to the area and the anatomy. You feel some sense of being soothed, and I think often what
Yeah.
you feel is raw or isn't working. Isn't always the vocal cords themselves. It's the pharynx area, or it's the back of the throat, or the back of the tongue, or the area around the cords. It's not always the cords, so it does help in that respect. The best thing to support the cords is steam.
You told me I got that steamer because of you, that little steamy thing. I didn't bring it to New York, but got a little funky from you, so I have to get another one. The next time I go into a drugstore,
right?
Maybe 2022 or something like that.
When did you know that you had to see someone about your voice? Like, what were your
Yeah, it started, I started just telling my wife my voice is kind of hoarse. It gets hoarse from time to time, but it was really hoarse. And the high register, the falsetto, wasn't working, like, which would happen sometimes after a gig. And I first went to an ENT, and he thought maybe it was like reflux, and then when they snake that tube down your nose, which is a kind of a lovely feeling.
Nothing like it.
Then they see, oh, well, you have a thing. The doctor asked me, did I want to do something about it? She herself is a singer.
Okay.
And, well, what happens if I don't? She goes, well, you'll progressively probably have no voice at some point. I think, let me think about it. I think I want to do something about it. I think, let me wait.
I'm a professional singer and speaker.
I guess they had to ask, professional.
Yeah. I mean, and for you and I, it's like, who would say no? But I'm sure many people do. They go, oh, it'll be all right. As long as they can.
Well, if you think about it, it's a fairly modern procedure. This isn't something they could do, I don't know how many years back, 50, 40?
Maybe.
I think Julie Andrews had one of the early ones.
Oh, yeah?
And it was not, from her perspective, very successful. But before that, it's just like, you're done.
We had this sense of, oh my God, the vocal cords are like this little infant child. Don't hurt them. And they just get it.
Yeah, it's tough. She said, yeah, you'll turn them into like they were when they were 15 again. It was just one chord, but you gave me confidence, you gave me techniques. I got all your stuff on my phone,
Happy to help.
Yeah, if you did some of those things on stage, they kind of bring out a different part of a person.
The vocal exercises?
I mean, it's they just bring out strange sounds that are not necessarily.
They do. It's comical at times. It's a lot of it feels silly, but going back to that analogy of the athlete. I think about it and I explain it this way. I'm like, you're stretching, you're doing your cardio, you're doing muscle conditioning, you're building awareness. You're getting things into a position so that when the air passes through, it's relaxed, so that then you can go and do whatever you want.
Yeah, then you can forget about
You
it.
can go and perform. And that's just a hard thing to wrap your head around if you're not used to it. Which is, I remember going through that. I remember being resistant to it.
I think I read Keith Richards' great autobiography, and I think he was writing in some sort of annoyed fashion about Mick was always doing these exercises. Like you wouldn't think that Mick Jagger was doing them, but of course he was. He's
Of
a
course,
total pro.
nasty.
Right.
I love that about you, Peter, in that you don't really buy into the rock star mystique. And you totally could. But you just kind of keep it real. And I
Oh
appreciate
man,
that.
if I could do the rock mystique, I would in a
You could
second.
do the rock star mystique.
I'd do it in a second.
You're a total rock star. Or someone posted the other day, I can't remember right now who it was, like a rock singer. And they said vocal coaches are a waste of time. And someone sent it to me and says, "Oh, this must really hurt." And I'm like, "No, it doesn't. I feel bad for him because he needs a good vocal coach." But I get where he's coming from. There are a lot of really ill-informed and not helpful coaches because there's nowhere to go to figure this out. And I get that he's had bad experiences that don't align with what he
Yeah,
does.
I've had a couple experiences that I wouldn't say they were bad, but they just didn't seem fruitful, or I wasn't meshing with that particular person.
Sure.
There was the thing that didn't work oftentimes, or were differentiated from what you do. They were so complicated.
Right.
Things of like diaphragmatic breathing and it's just too much for me to think about. It also didn't seem applicable. It was hard for me to see, well, how am I going to advance from this within the next 12 years? You want to have things that are aspirational, but you have to have something that you can gain from in the immediate term as well.
100%. 100%. And while, the thing about vocal coaching is the majority of vocal coaches have learned how to teach voice from either their vocal coach or from what they've figured out as a singer on their own. And it's good and bad to that. But the history of vocal coaching is steeped in opera.
Yeah, right. I mean, everyone was coached. Coaching was part of it.
Yeah. And so,
Nobody didn't have a coach.
right. And so if you were an opera singer, you learned German and Italian, and you learned to sing in whatever language you had to for the piece. And you had to learn to sing without a microphone because they weren't invented, and you had to fill a hole. And so it was all about pushing the voice to a limit at the time. And opera singers are incredible, and the skills have come a long way. But a lot of those old lessons have permeated modern vocal coaching, and we know so much more. And as a rock singer or a contemporary singer, you're using a microphone, or you're in the studio with an incredibly powerful microphone where you can redo things. Those same massive, like pushing the body, diaphragmatic breathing things don't necessarily help. In fact, a lot of the times they hinder and they don't always apply to your
Right,
scenario.
right. Somebody mentioned like Bing Crosby was the first one that sang in kind of a quiet voice because of the microphone.
Mm-hmm. It's powerful.
That's why I have this mic no matter where I am.
I see.
When I used to go on those airplanes, and yeah, you need a mic. It's much more commanding with a microphone.
It just screams, listen.
It does. I put reverb on it sometimes, and when I used to go to the store, bring me those eggs. And, whoa, sure. This guy's got something going on. Sounds like a king.
Little slap back delay.
Exactly. Sounds like Elvis. Elvis and the egg counter.
I have another question. Was there a moment in your career where you realized you were a singer, or was it something you just always did because you were pursuing music?
Well, it's kind of funny. I never really consider myself a singer, even now. I just, I wrote these songs and I wrote the words and things, and you know, I in order to show them, I had to sing them. So I had a, you know what I'm saying? It's a de facto singer.
But you are a singer.
Yeah, I guess so.
Mm-hmm.
No, I sing more than the average person, I suppose.
So I guess my question is answered. It's like in this moment, right now, you're realizing Peter Himmelman is a singer.
Yeah. Singer-songwriter. You have to write that hyphen,
Right.
you know.
True.
It's not just a songwriter, and clearly not just a singer.
Mm-hmm. The two are coupled.
But I mean, aren't the guys from Def Leppard singer-songwriters? I mean, whoever wrote the song.
Yeah.
We think of it as some guy on an acoustic guitar. Wasn't Bob Marley a singer-songwriter? I mean,
No, it's a genre. It's
yeah.
it's the confusion and weird, wacky world of genre. Like alternative, what does that mean? I don't know what that means anymore. Alternative to what?
I don't know. It did. I guess it used to mean something. It did. You turn up your fuzz pedal even louder than the other people did.
A lot more fuzz to be in the genre.
Mm-hmm. More fuzz. Now it's less fuzz.
Exactly. Wow. So
We've covered ground
I've got a
here.
lot of ground.
I mean,
would you like to sing us something?
airplanes, microphones. Would I like to what?
Sing us something. Now that you're a singer,
Oh.
you're in a fight.
Oh, really? Does it sound okay and stuff?
You sound great. Peter Himmelman is with me on Instagram. He's about to sing a song, so if you're on Instagram, head over there and you can see him.
Now, this song, check. Not that anyone knows it. I somehow heard this song the other day, and I hadn't played it since the day I recorded it. You know, it was one of those things. But I like the song a lot. Can you hear this?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a kind of a prayerful hymn. Hold the things that I can't carry. Take the weight from off my chest. Take away my apprehensions. Let me see how I've been blessed. Hold the things that I can't carry. Dilute the poison of my fear. Rinse the hurt from deep inside me. I am strong when you are near. My burden is hard, love, but the just is. Sometimes I get to wondering where in this world I find a way. Hold the things that I can't carry. My legs won't support the weight, and lift the weight these leaden limbs. The pain of them is just too great.
Hold the things that I can't carry. Lift the weight from off my chest. take away my apprehensions. Let me see how I've been blessed. Hold the things that I can't carry. Dilute the poison of my fear. Rinse the hurt from deep inside me. I am strong when you are near. My burden is hard. The journey's hard to steer. Sometimes I get to wondering where in this world I find a will. Hold the things that I can't carry. My legs won't support the weight. Lift away these leaden memories. The pain of them is just too great. The burden is hard, yeah. The journey's hard to steer. Sometimes I get to wondering where in the world I find the will. The wind through your hair, the touch of your skin. These memories are endless. They're never done and they don't begin. Hold the things that I can't carry. Set them upon your back. I need the strength of your assurance. Bring me the strength I lack. The burden is hard, yes. The journey's hard to steer. Sometimes I get to wondering where in this world I find the will. Hold the things that I can't carry. Hold the things that I can't carry. Hold the things that I can't carry.
Peter, if you can see me or hear me, thank you for joining us. And I'm sorry we had technical difficulties, although not your fault. I'm not surprised. If you feel so inclined, go and look up Peter's music and listen to him. Follow him. He's amazing. If you want to sing with me, I'll be here next week at 3 Sunday. And in the meantime, if you're looking for ways to sing, you can go to my YouTube channel and do the warm-ups that are there. Okay? Thanks for joining. Bye.